Do you ask yourself, when will I find peace? Today, I wanted to share with you a story to help you find peace wherever you are, in whatever state you're in, and whatever situation you're in. So stick around. One morning I was sitting in my special place doing my morning routine, and as I listened for a teaching, I heard I was feeling very disrupted and not peaceful, and I heard peace comes in pieces. And as I sat with that for a minute, I thought it was such a profound way to look at things. One of the first things that it taught me was that in order to find peace, we have to come apart. Because we experience in contrast, I cannot know peace unless I know the opposite of peace. And to what extent I have the opposite, then I have the opportunity to feel the peace in that, directly proportional to that falling apart, let's say. And so it gave me some comfort that what I had been going through was an opportunity and not a punishment. And it was an opportunity for me to now move into the opposite and feel the peace of that in direct opposition. And so peace comes in pieces. We have to be apart to come together. And what a beautiful concept that is. Second, it taught me that there are peace usually comes in small pieces or increments, and that we kind of expect all our problems to go away, and we would just receive this big energy of peace, and everything's better and everything's fine in our lives, and we can now finally feel peace. But more often than not, we are given pieces of peace a little bit at a time, and it is our responsibility and our privilege to let those build us to a place of wholeness. There may be times when you're in the middle of havoc, let's say, and for whatever reason, we catch ourselves in those moments, and it takes some practice. And although things are a little crazy, we're not quite bound by them. They haven't got us the way they have sometimes. In those moments, we can really appreciate the peace that is there, the peace. It's a piece of peace. So all of our problems are not gone, but we are less reactive and less affected by the havoc that may be happening. And reaching out and clinging on to those peaceful moments are vital in moving us forward and helping us to have hope that things will get better. I want to share with you a beautiful story. I think that Eckhart shares this story in his book, A New Earth, but it's a famous kind of a Buddhist tale, and I wanted to share it with you because I think it's a great example of finding peace in the unpeace or in pieces, and answering the question, when will I find peace? So there was a monk that lived on the edge of a small town, much to the delight of the townspeople. Whenever he ventured to the town to help someone, everyone came out of their homes to give him gifts from their gardens, calling out to him, "Oh, teacher, we're so fortunate to have you living nearby. You are such a wonderful person. You do so much good, teacher. Thank you. Your presence is such a blessing." To all of this, the monk would reply, "Is that so? Is that so?" One day, a young woman came to the monk's hut and said, "Oh, teacher, I'm in terrible trouble. I am pregnant and my family will disown me. The young man who I love so much has fled to another town because my family would certainly do him harm. I have nowhere else to turn and no one else to ask for help." The monk replied that she could live in the back room and help around the house, and she would have the security of a home for the child. Well, now, when the monk went to the town, he was reviled. You dirty old man, look how you have betrayed our trust and taken advantage of that young woman. How dare you? How could we ever have believed in you? What shame you have brought on us. And they hurled rotten fruit at him along with their insults. To all of this, the monk replied, Is that so? Is that so? After a while, the father of the child returned to town and presented himself before the family, saying, I have spent the last 2 years learning a trade in a neighboring town, and now I am able to provide a home for your daughter and grandchild. The family was overjoyed. Although it wasn't the best of situations, it was much better than they had feared, that they welcomed their daughter and grandchild back into the family with open arms. How differently it was when the monk came into the town again. How differently it was when the monk came into town then. The townspeople lined the road every time, presenting him with gifts and food and calling out, "Oh, teacher, how could we ever have doubted you? Look at the wonderful things you have done. We are so ashamed. Please forgive us. You are such a wise and compassionate person. We are so fortunate to have you living nearby." To which the monk replied, "Is that so? Is that so?" This story I love because his peace did not come through his situation. His peace was within. His peace was there because he chose it and because he stepped into it and accepted it. And he didn't let any of the outside circumstances negotiate his peace. So when can you have peace? Anytime that you choose. Anytime that you are willing to step into it, to take that deep breath, and to allow yourself to find it within yourselves. So send me some of your thoughts on this story. Tell me about some of the difficulties and tell me about some of your triumphs with finding your peace. We'll see you next time.